Thanks, Riaz. Good morning. It is 7 o'clock. A South African judge has sentenced Oscar Pistorius to 5 years in prison for the shooting death of his girlfriend.
Count 1, culpable homicide. The sentence imposed is a maximum imprisonment of 5 years.
The sentence was handed down just a few hours ago, with Pistorius showing little emotion in court. Legal experts say the maximum 5-year term for culpable homicide allows for release after just 10 months in jail. The rest of the sentence would be served under house arrest. Pistorius was taken away by guards and starts serving his jail sentence immediately. One of the 2 Canadian soldiers deliberately struck by a man in a car in Quebec has now died of his injuries. The incident happened in a parking lot just outside Montreal yesterday. The suspect at the center of the investigation was chased by police. He rolled his car and then was shot by officers and later died. Prime Minister's office and RCMP investigators say the suspect was known to police and had become radicalized. The name of the Canadian Forces member who died overnight has not yet been released. The province is expected to reveal its anticipated tax rate on the proposed liquefied natural gas industry today. The Premier and LNG experts will be gathering in Delta later this morning, and that is where we find Greg Harper with more. Greg?
Good morning, Jody. Yes, they'll be gathering here at FortisBC's LNG facility in Delta. That's because a very large expansion project is beginning here today. It's one that FortisBC is investing $400 million in. Also today, the government will be introducing a proposed tax law, and it's one that could have a significant impact on the investment decisions that are made within the LNG industry. The province isn't saying much about it, but is saying that it will be a 2-tiered tax, recognizing the capital investments the industry is making. Earlier this month, the LNG Alliance warned that the window is closing on the province's trillion-dollar gas stream, and it's worried about the industry's global competitiveness. The proposed legislation that will be introduced today follows an announcement by BC's Environment Minister on the new rules governing greenhouse gas emissions for LNG.
The export of LNG is a once-in-a-lifetime economic opportunity for British Columbians, but it's also an environmental opportunity. As the cleanest burning fossil fuel, natural gas is part of a global climate solution.
So this legislation that will be introduced today is expected to pass before the end of November. Jody?
Thanks so much, Greg Harper, reporting from Delta this morning. Thanks, Greg. A memorial service will be held tomorrow for one of 2 high school sweethearts killed in a car crash in Delta on Thanksgiving Monday. Family of Chantal McLean is now hoping to start a scholarship in her name. Chantal was featured here on Breakfast Television last year as our Athlete of the Week.
I've been doing it for a long time, and this year, since December especially, has been a really busy year for me with rugby provincials and everything that I've been doing. And so I think it's just a lot of communication, I guess, with my family.
Chantal was a leader both on the soccer field and the rugby pitch. Since the tragic car accident, which also killed her boyfriend Cody, her family has been inundated with support from her friends, teachers, and community. Her parents say it's helping them cope with their loss, and they're learning more about just how special their daughter was.
She seemed to have really inspired people a lot, and maybe I overlooked that. And I'm so happy that I found out about it. You know? And my wife and I, and my daughter, want to make sure that that continues.
A scholarship has been set up and will be awarded to a female student at Clayton Secondary who exemplifies the leadership qualities Chantal had, as well as her compassion for her teammates in sport. Donations can be made in her name at any Coast Capital Savings branch. A member of the Delta Police Department is charged with second-degree murder. A 48-year-old man was shot and killed after a long standoff with officers outside the Starlight Casino in New Westminster. In November of 2012, he was reportedly distraught and armed with a handgun. Constable Jordan McWilliams is now charged in relation to his death. He was working for a regional emergency response team. The charge comes after an investigation by BC's police watchdog.
Further material was provided to Crown in July this year and October of this year. The file was carefully reviewed by senior Crown counsel, and that resulted in the Crown approving the charge that's before the court.
This is the first time, that we've ever had anything like this happen, and, I'm not sure what the statistics are, but, this is a rare occurrence for across Canada.
McWilliams has been released on a number of bail conditions. He is back in court in December.